Welcome to the Sons of Idiots show.
Hey everybody, how's it going?
That didn't sound like someone who just started in the biz. You're right. The way I said, welcome to the show. Sound like someone who's been doing it for years, guys.
Guys, slugging away at the old podcast
Your boy Tom C. It took him
grinder.
so many years to get that welcome to the show. The way he did it like that.
I'd heard Tom C. practicing that opening in his recording closet for years, and slaving away.
Wasn't
trying
ready.
to
Wasn't ready yet.
Getting the exact pitches right, the tones right, everything perfect. And now that you've unleashed it on the world, I gotta say, it's pretty good.
You know what? I said to myself, 113. It's got to be ready for that episode, that fateful episode. That's what I said.
I remember back when we started, you said, on episode 113, I'm going to have an opening that's going to blow them away, and you did not disappoint.
You said, well, what about 112? And I said, no. So 113. It's got to be 113.
Well, the thing is, the second I said it, I knew that 112 was rushing and 113 was perfection. That's all there is to it.
See, here's another thing. A lot of times you want to kind of give an audience something to imitate, because think of your favorite performers. They all have a kind of catchphrase or a vocal quirk that you can kind of emulate.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So now people, when they want to be like, oh, here they see Tom C in the street. By the way, guys, I'm Tom C if you're new. They can go, welcome to the show, like that, and I'll know they know the show. You know?
It makes sense to me.
Who else would they be impersonating? Nobody. Only me and the Pope do it that good. You know?
Hey, everybody, I'm the Pope.
Welcome to Vatican City, he says, when people come to the Vatican City.
Yeah.
There's like a camera or something, I bet. Or maybe he's out there on the streets, handshaking everyone who walks into the Vatican City. I like that idea way more.
I think it makes sense. Because if you think about it,
I don't even
every
need to think
day. No, think about this. Every day, people are coming into his home, the Vatican, and what's the only time when people come into your home? For a party. So every day is like a party for him.
Yo, think about this. Does anyone take off their shoes to enter the Pope's house? No. It's because of Catholic.
They probably have to
Japanese.
for the rollerblading rink that's in there.
What? Or the bowling rink.
Of
Yo,
course.
dude.
The bowling blade rink.
Okay, listen. You know the Vatican City and those cardinals, they got to have a way to get down. If you are one of them cardinals, what is your means of escapism from that dreary life? Because listen, you're celibate. You can't do that. You're not doing that.
Guys, that's a real classy ass compass joke right there.
What's a compass joke? Did you say sextant?
No, I didn't.
What was I missed it. I talked over myself.
You were talking about cardinals, and I said, "What's the direction you take for entertainment?"
Oh,
big laughs.
You know what? I wish I hadn't
laughs at
talked
home.
over it earlier. I'm glad we went back for that. Glad we went back.
Thanks, thank you.
So you're one of them popes. You're one of them cardinals. What do you do for fun?
Yeah.
What do you do? I'm saying there's probably bowling.
Well, the thing is, I think bowling is a sport, is an activity that everyone of every religion and every walk of life can enjoy.
I implore you to try and find something sacrilegious about bowling.
And and nothing is more satisfying than when you get that strike and all those pins go down. I don't care if you're the Pope or you're not the Pope.
Here, you know what they always say: you bowl just like the Pope. That's that classic expression. Because everyone knows that the Pope's bowling nonstop. He's getting 400s because he's a religious man.
Wow.
300's too close to 6. 6 is close to 666. Can't do it. Got to get 400.
That makes sense. It makes sense on paper when you say it like that.
A lot of pro bowlers, they try to get into the papacy just so they can bowl better and do better in tourneys. That's why you see a lot of retired popes who are now bowlers. You see it a lot.
I personally had not seen that, but if you say it's true, I ain't gonna doubt you.
I keep up on the bowling circuit. But
I
guys,
know you do. That's why I'm trusting you here.
You're doing the right thing. You don't want to look stupid. You know
that comedic movie Kingpin? I know you hated it because it was too comedic about the serious activity of bowling.
Okay, real life problem that I have is I think Tin Cup and Kingpin are the same movie.
They are not the same movie. I can tell you that. Having seen neither of them, I can tell you that they are not the same movie.
I know they give me like the same vibe. I like whenever someone says it, I'm like, oh yeah, Tin Cup. And I'm like, oh no, wait.
Okay, you're only thinking that because they both are fairly short and have similar sounding names.
I want to say Woody Harrelson's in both.
He's in one.
No, I feel like I nailed it, and we should probably move on while I'm ahead.
I think
Guys,
that's fair. Guys,
this is a video game show. I'm your intrepid host,
welcome
Tom
to Pope
C.
Chat. Whoops.
And that's your other intrepid host, D Marx.
D Marx over here. Guys, we're happy to have you. Episode 113. They said we couldn't do it, and then we did it anyway.
They said specifically, the Suns will never get to episode 113.
Well, it's like when you go up a building and it goes from 12 to 14.
It's exactly like that.
They wanted us to do that, but we were too manly.
The two most unluckiest numbers, 13 and then 113.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird, but it's true. You'd think 26 would be unlucky, but it's not. Because that's just two 13s.
Now, yeah, it makes sense, but somehow it doesn't work like that.
No, I don't know how bad luck works, guys. I'm just too full of the good kind to know
It's
about
all that
that.
Irish blood that you drink every day.
It helps, dude. It really does help, I think.
Yeah, probably. Anyway,
Anyway.
guys, video game show.
What is going on with video games this week? Great question.
Well, I've been cruising around the internets a little bit because
I feel like you said cruising last week, too. And it's still funny to me.
Did I say cruising?
Because anytime you say cruising, I think of the Steel Panther Mother's Day video
Oh.
where he says, I'm going to cruise around and pick up you later. He's talking about his mom, or Lexi's mom. Dude, Steel Panther is great. By the way, guys, everyone go listen to Steel Panther.
Well, that's not what happened.
Well, tell me what happened.
Yeah. So I was looking around and the internets.
I've heard of it.
Yes, you may have heard of it. And there's been a lot of discussion about a few things, but I'm not going to talk about any of that crap yet because I want to talk about a game that I started getting into because Tom C and I have been listening to a podcast that I believe we mentioned last week called Hardcore History.
Yep, I'm listening to the American Peril episode now.
It's a good episode.
Boy, people really hated Asian people.
Yeah,
and Spanish people.
Everybody hates everybody. That's what I've learned.
Americans loved killing people.
There's one thing I've learned. It's that everybody hates everybody all the time.
Well, they don't even hate them. They just love killing them. It's like a big difference.
Who doesn't love killing, though?
That's true.
Putting that out there.
They were way into it back then.
It was there every day. Anyway.
Yeah, the 1890s, just everyone was getting shot. Why not?
Yeah, well, makes sense. Anyway, so what got me started listening to that episode or that podcast was a series about the first WW1, and it's a really great podcast. And I was like, I wonder if there are any good World War I games that I could play. And I looked on my Steam account, and you know what I forgot I had, but then I totally remembered because I saw it.
Was it Verdun?
It was Verdun.
Nailed it. If that was our newest game, guys, guess what game he's about to talk about?
Dude, you Verdun it. Nailed it.
Anyway,
so I started playing that because I had given it a try. I don't know, back when I first got it, end of last year. Yeah, because I got it on Steam sale, the holiday sale. And I tried it then, and I wasn't super into it because it was really rough back then, guys. It's still in the beta, so
let's pretend the audience has no idea what Verdun is like.
I'm gonna get into it.
All right, good.
But I tried to play it a few months ago, and I couldn't get into it because it was super rough. But they've really polished up at least a little bit since then. It's much more playable now. Verdun is a World War I squad-based first-person multiplayer shooter, and the way it differs from games like your Call of Duties or your Battlefields or whatever is that you're always playing on a squad, and you actually are assigned. You can choose different what roles you're going to be on that squad, and there's four people to a squad, and there's 4 different roles. The roles kind of differ from faction to faction, but the general gist is you have one NCO who is supposed to like lead your troops. You have one like rifle dude who's like your tank dude. You have the like stormtrooper guy, and you have the flanker who goes in on the other side of the trenches and kind of like disrupts the enemy formation on his own.
Does he have a trench gun?
No.
Dang it.
Well, there aren't Americans in this game.
What?
I don't know if they're going to get that far yet.
Hmm. I feel like everyone in World War One had a trench gun, though.
Actually, very few people did.
Dang
That's
it.
the funny part.
It's not that funny. It makes me sad.
Well, apparently one of the higher level unlocks is an MP18, which I really want to get, but that's way off.
Yeah, I'm down with that.
Um, so the each class gets their own different weapon loadouts, and some of them get abilities that you can use. For example, the NCO has the ability to kind of point out an area on a map and tell the whole team to attack that area. And if you as the NCO or part of your team gets a kill while trying to achieve that objective, you actually get bonus experience points, which is neat.
I like that idea.
And also, you can call in support strikes as the NCO, either with poison gas or like mortar barrage, and that really ruins people's lives.
A border barrage?
A mortar barrage.
Sorry.
You got a mortar from the border.
Also, this is a dumb question. I should know this. What does NCO stand for?
Non-commissioned officer.
All right, thank you.
It's like a sergeant, kind of.
No, I'm on board now.
Yeah.
I just need a little refresher.
Yeah. And then you have the I've only really played as a couple of classes because I think some of them are like the gunner class, and like they're the ones that are supposed to be using machine guns, but you don't start out with the machine guns because machine guns are obviously incredibly good in that game.
Yeah.
Because everyone else is using like bolt action rifles and stuff. Thing about this game, everything's gonna kill you. Doesn't matter what's happening. You can die just by walking into razor wire. It happens constantly if you're not careful. And it like really, guys, for those of you who don't know about the First World War, the Western Front, that is, it's characterized by something called trench warfare, which is people fighting from in dug up trenches and trying to cross this what's called no man's land to try and take the enemy trenches. And
also, if you haven't learned that yet, how's ninth grade going? You're going to learn that soon.
And the way Verdun works is that it kind of switches back and forth who's on the offensive and who's on the defensive. So, say, for example, you're playing as the Entente or the Allies. And so you could start with the attack wave. Like, that's how the round starts. It's your job to cross no man's land, clear out the enemy German trenches, hold their trench, and try and take as many trenches on the battlefield as you can. But then after a certain amount of time, the roles will switch, and it's your job to prepare for the German counterattack that's going to come. It actually works pretty well.
That seems like a pretty straightforward and good idea for a game.
It doesn't get boring. There are only two modes of play, which is the mode I just described and a free-for-all multiplayer match, which I don't know why you'd ever do that in a game like this, because the gameplay isn't fun enough for me to just want to play it by myself.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't want to be like, oh, I can't wait to shoot someone with the things.
It's for weirdos who are playing a World War I game for not the World War I feel.
Yeah, I guess.
Which apparently is a person that exists, which surprises me.
Yeah, I guess it's for all those Call of Duty friends
who mistakenly clicked on Verdun.
But yeah, so that's pretty much Verdun in a nutshell. I don't think there's anything I really missed aside from there are two different factions, and I'm not super sure. It seems like there's a bit of class disparity between what goes on within the factions, because like within each of the factions there's like 4 sub sections. The only ones I can really remember are the allies, because they're in English and I can actually understand that. But the allies the allies are the French and the British. So you have Canadians, like the what are just called the Tommies. You have the
like
French,
that.
like you have the French. I think they're called the Gendarmes, and then some other French faction I don't remember. And if I remember correctly, there's some slight variation between each of the things, but I don't know. I don't remember enough about which ones certain things do.
Like what is varied? Like the weapons you can get, or what?
Well, I think the like the different actually classes. Like I think at their core, the NCO, gunner, rifleman and flanker, they're all the same, but I think like the kind of stuff that they get varies from faction to faction. But I'm not super
I can
sure
dig
about
that.
that. I haven't played the game enough to quite get in there. I haven't gotten enough unlocks to really understand all that stuff. Um, but like the flanker, I remember the German flanker, at least for one of the Germans. He starts out with just a Luger and a bunch of grenades because he's
Oh,
like
I
clearing
like
out
that.
trenches and going from the side and shooting them. Trust me, pistols are really good because you can actually
Well,
shoot more than one bullet at a time, and that's real great.
I'm kind of an idiot, and my first question is, what weapons are in this game? Because I don't know many World War One era weapons.
That's a good question, Tim. Um,
Hey
so
Tim,
basically, it's all authentic weaponry. As I said, there are unlocks that you can get. I have
you mean
not
there's
played
no
enough.
lasers in this game?
No, not a single laser.
Ugh,
I'm very sorry.
not for me.
No high frequency blades, no Metal Gears, not a single one.
Pass.
Um,
Pass.
I mean, you're dealing with authentic World War One rifle or armaments, all the bolt action rifles you could ever want. Um, things like the G98 and the Car 98 for the Germans, the SMLE for the British, the Lebel rifle for the French. And then the pistols, it's the Webley revolver for the British, the Ruby semi-automatic for the French, and then the Luger 9mm for the Germans. And
So
then,
no. Oh yeah, Americans aren't in this game.
yeah, that might be. They might come out with that later. But what is cool is that I guess you can form kind of permanent squads. I haven't really seen that, obviously, but apparently, if you the higher because you get they're basically two different experience trackers. There's one for your squad and one for you. And the more stuff the more experience you get, you get better weapon unlocks. And the higher your squad gets, you can unlock different costumes. So in the beginning of the war, you have all these you have starting war costumes. Like the French are in like these really kind of flamboyant red and blue outfits that like make them really stand out. The Germans have their pickelhaubers and stuff, and it's like that turn of the century kind of mindset. But apparently, as you level up your squad, you can actually give them late war stuff like steel helmets and like camouflage and stuff.
That's a really cool idea.
Yeah.
Although I feel like if you're a true pro, you always wear the clown outfit, like that French clown outfit. Come
Well,
on
the
now.
thing is, it might actually affect gameplay, which would make a lot of sense and be kind of cool.
Well, of course it would, but it would be more hardcore.
Well, yeah, obviously, but
The question
there's
is, are you hardcore when you get that big?
yeah,
Are you a big
um,
baby and you're gonna wear real outfits that real people would do?
a real bubby.
Real puppy?
A real bubby. What I would like to kind of see is, in the future, it would be cavalry. That'd be really cool because that's like the dying days of cavalry, and even then, it was not very good. But like, if there was a horse thing, like you could be like a lancer wearing a gas mask, that'd be awesome.
That would be awesome. We all remember that one picture of that lancer with a gas mask.
Yeah, exactly. That's
That
exactly.
specific picture, which is exactly what you're thinking of too. One
But
we're both thinking about.
but yeah, that's basically Verdun in a nutshell. I think I did a good job. This was my report. Thank you.
What
Are there
would you
any
like to
questions?
see in the game still? Is there something you feel is lacking?
Well, I mean, it is still in the beta, and it shows by the way it plays. Oh, also one thing I forgot: if you are going to play, one thing you're going to have to do immediately is change all the hotkeys because their initial setup is just terrible.
Do they not use WASD?
They do, but everything else is like totally weird and not sensical at all.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, reload is RNG at the same time, and you're like, absolutely not. What is wrong with you?
Why would I do this?
No. So like all of them except for WASD are all this weird like double thing. So you have to go and change that, and that took me a while to figure out because I was like, I feel like I should be able to aim down sights with this pencil or with my pistol, but it's not working for some reason, and I had to change that whole thing.
Maybe there's a reason for that. Maybe it wants
Maybe
to have like the. It's one of those things like a survival horror game where they want it to be more complicated so it feels more realistic. That's what
possible,
I'm gonna say, and it's stupid. I
but
don't know. Should I try it?
I think you would not regret trying it, especially because I'm pretty sure I gave you a copy.
I was about to. My third question was, do I secretly already own this game?
I think I gave both you and John a copy for
Yeah,
Christmas.
I think you are right, and perhaps I shall try it. How are the graphics looking? Good or really good?
They're a little rough. I mean, for it's one of those things where it's like asking how the graphics in Mountain Blade are. You're just like, I can't really, I can't come down on them because it's a small team that makes it. You know,
Right.
I mean, they're probably better than Mountain Grade. Actually, some of the terrain looks pretty cool. Like the No Man's Land stuff looks pretty. I mean, it's hard to mess that up because a lot of it's just brown craters with puddles in them. But you still get that desolate feel.
Question 4: would you rather play Verdun or Mountain Blade?
Uh, Probably Mountain Blade.
That's all you need to know, guys. We're gonna get you on the next thrilling half.
Whoa. Hey, everybody.
Hey, Dr. D Marx.
Wow, guys, welcome back to the show. Round two.
Guys, do you ever get tired of these Simpsons references?
I hope not, because it's the best jokes in the world.
I haven't watched Simpsons in definitely over a year, by the way.
I have. Here,
What? Anything to report?
still good. I don't know.
Thank you. That's all I got to know. Do you know that Simpsons has been on for the entirety of my life?
Yeah, I think that's the same with me.
Name one other show where that's the case, besides the news.
You can't do it.
I don't know why they stopped making Looney Tunes, but they did. Yo,
Maybe Jeopardy.
Kids probably don't know about Bugs Bunny anymore. If it weren't for like gangsters wearing T-shirts of it.
Dude, you always say that. I'm not sure how true
Dude,
that
I'm
is.
always saying it though.
You are always saying it.
I just won't stop.
That's why I pointed out the fact that you're always saying it.
People need to know. By the way, anyone who says Taz is their favorite character, they're devoid of personality.
No, that's obviously wrong.
Come on now. You're passing up some of the heavy hitters. You're passing up Bugs Bunny. You're passing up Daffy Duck.
I was
Who
gonna
is,
say
by the way,
I'll probably go for a Daff.
yeah, you can't listen. Daffy Duck is a strong contender for lead guy.
Yeah,
If you
I
didn't
would.
have,
I
if
would
you
say
didn't have
so.
B Bunny right there, you'd have D Duck.
Well, here's the thing. Here's what I'm saying right now. Across the board, ducks are top tier cartoon characters almost all the time.
I'm gonna try and think of a counter to that, but I'm gonna need you to list some other top tier ducks. And we all know Scrooge McDuck. You're gonna say Scrooge McDuck.
You got Scrooge McDuck. You got pretty. Well, you have the whole DuckTales ensemble.
Right.
You got Launchpad McQuack. You got Darkwing Duck. You got
I think
Donald.
some of these are the same duck, by the way. That's why I think this is unfair.
You'd think so, but you'd actually be wrong.
Listen, we all know Scrooge McDuck was also all of his children. They're the same duck, they're just shorter. It's like a duplicity thing. He's playing the role of every duck.
I didn't get quite that meta into my Disney cartoons.
Darkwing
but
Duck is the same duck as not Donald, but also Scrooge McDuck.
Just because they all look the same. That's racist. You
Yo,
can't say
all
they're
ducks look the same. I'm not gonna pussyfoot around this. They all look like the same duck.
That's racist.
I don't care. What are the ducks gonna do about it?
They could write you a strongly worded letter.
No, they can't.
Dude, I would not cross Darkwing Duck. He's gonna get dangerous all over you.
Listen, I'm not gonna talk crap about Darkwing Duck. He solves crime. Crime, it's solved now. That's been done.
Crime is over now.
That you know who we have to thank? Darkwing Duck. Here's the thing, real talk, chipmunks. You got a lot of strong chipmunk characters.
Dude, you only got two. You got Chip and Dale. Who else? Who else you got?
The Alvin and the Chipmunks.
I don't like Alvin and Chip.
I also don't like Alvin Chipmunks, but they're there.
They are there. That's fair.
I don't know. There's got to be hold on. Do birds count as a whole?
I feel like you need to get more specific with birds because ducks are birds.
How about cats? Whoa, why'd we skip cats?
Cats are good. Yeah,
Cats, you
cats
got a
is a
lot
good
of.
choice.
If we include tigers, you got big shots like.
Nobody's including tigers. No, we're not going that deep.
So if I were to say cartoon cats, and I say Garfield,
You got
and then
Sylvester.
who?
Sylvester?
Oh yeah, Sylvester. You're not gonna let me say Hobbs here
No.
because he's a tiger,
Yeah.
a type of big cat. You're not gonna
Yeah.
I think you just want to defend ducks.
I'm not no, because you have other good cats too. You're just not naming them.
I forgot. I'm not gonna say Heathcliff.
No one's gonna say Heathcliff.
I'm not gonna say Felix.
What about SWAT cats?
SWAT cats. I feel like they're secretly just big chipmunks, so I'm putting them in my chipmunk thing earlier.
Here's what I'm gonna say. They're chip ducks, so I'm gonna say we're both right.
All right, that counts as a point for both of us. But anyway, you got kids these days. They're all gonna be like, "Oh, I only know about this Hanna-Barbera character because of that shirt. My tough buddy was wearing a Fred Flintstone shirt." That's gonna happen.
I was wearing a Snagglepuss do-rag the other day.
Chamillionaire is gonna go out there, or Chamillionaire is gonna go out there wearing his Betty Boop shirt, and people are gonna think he's a real tough dude.
Dude, I would. I wouldn't cross anyone in a Betty Boop shirt.
By the way, Betty Boop. Who has ever cared about Betty Boop?
People from the 40s? Question mark.
Did they even care, or were they like, "Oh, that's droll"?
Somebody must have cared.
Nobody cared. Back in the day, things just were put in front of your face, and then you'd do it because you had to go to war in 2 days. So you're like, whatever, I guess I'm into this now.
Just like that flat out refusal. Nobody cared.
Literally nobody cared ever about Betty Boop. And the fact that there's still people pretending to care about her right now irritates me.
Dude, it's kind of
like
sad.
Marilyn Monroe.
It's kind of sad because she makes a cameo appearance in Who Framed Roger Rabbit, and she talks about how she couldn't make the transition to colored cartoons, and you kind of feel bad.
A little too real for that cartoon.
Dude, that's such a good movie.
It is a good movie. I'm not kidding. It had Bob Hoskins.
It did. He just
Nailed
died
it.
this year. That was sad.
That was sad. He was also in Jurassic
Hook.
Park.
He was in Hook.
God, he's in Hook. He was the
You're thinking of Richard Attenborough,
who also died.
who also, yeah, that's true. He did also die.
Kind of nailed that. Guys, did we mention Joan
Kinda.
Rivers died? That was sad. Do you care about Joan Rivers? That was like 3 weeks ago. That was like 4 months ago.
3 weeks or 4 months.
Here's the thing. The podcast we listened to, that's how far back I am. She just died today. Can you believe that? It was seriously like 3 months ago.
I don't think it was quite that long, but I see your point.
Anyway, R.I.P. in peace.
Yep.
Guys, so we're a video game show. We don't talk about the stories of the day like your Joan Rivers
Nope.
or your Looney Tunes, which are both very contemporary stories.
Absolutely.
We talk about video games because that's the show we do. So, what's up with video games? Well, D Marx was filibustering the whole first segment. I said,
You can't say filibustering every episode.
I said, I have a bill to pass. And he said, oh, do you now? And he was like, I'm going to talk about Verdun for 20 minutes.
You can't say filibuster in every episode.
I sure can. That's my new promise. I'm going to slip it in.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go back to saying Freddie Prinze Jr. in every episode. Then
See, I was hoping everyone forgot about that.
never forget.
Never forget. So anyway, what have I been up to video game wise? Well, I got some stuff for you.
Wow.
One, I've been playing.
You didn't have to ask, and he's gonna tell us.
I started getting into Rome 2 again. Actually, a lot of Total Wars again. I got into Rome 2 because the Emperor Edition is out now, which anyone who bought Rome 2 got for free.
Yeah, tell me what that is, because I saw that was released, but I have no clue what that's supposed to be.
I think, I believe...
Tell me why I should care.
Emperor Edition is just an overhaul of a lot of things. I don't think it includes any DLC, but it might include the, I don't know how to say this right, Imperator Augustus?
Yeah, I think I saw that.
Is that how that's spelled? How is that pronounced?
Imperator?
Yeah, all right. The Imperator Augustus campaign, which I'm not sure if that's specific to Emperor Edition or if it was another DLC. But I just know I have it now and I didn't before, so I don't know. I did buy all the DLC too because it was on sale, so I was like, whatever. So the Augustus thing takes part in about 42 BC, I think. Or is it 4280? 42 something.
It's BC.
But
It's BC because it's the civil war between
Rome. You got Anthony's Rome, you got Pompeii, and you have someone else.
It's Brutus. Wait. No, because it wouldn't be Augustus for Pompeii. It
Well,
would be between Antony.
you got Anthony.
You got Antony. You should have Octavian,
You sure? Yeah, that might be it. Who
who
did I
is.
say? Augustus? Okay,
You said Pompey.
oh, I think you have Pompey too. It might be like, is that too old?
Well, Pompey fought against Julius Caesar
Well, maybe it's
and
like
Caesar's.
the heirs of his.
Well, because you should have the Brutus, the Cassius. Those are the two main guys on the other side, and then you have Antony and Octavian.
Well, I don't know because I haven't been playing as them.
Right.
Because guys, I found a mod, and the only reason I'm playing this new campaign is because of this mod. It was to play as the how would I say this? Play as the Jews,
The Judeans.
the Judeans. You play as Judea. You start off with Jerusalem. That's all you start out with. Which, in case you don't know this, me and D Marx, we kind of always liked playing Total War games as like the smaller nations instead of the bigger ones.
Yeah, that's always been my thing.
Because anyone could start out as the Byzantine empires, like some of us do sometimes, and just steamroll everybody because you're the
Even
biggest person.
Byzantine, even the Byzantines aren't that great starting out in medieval.
No, they have some problems, but
They're like mid. I would say they're mid start
yeah. Well, I would say they have a hard time
compared to
defending.
compared to like the Holy Roman Empire. They're small.
I think Holy Roman Empire is harder.
I'm talking in terms of like starting size.
Oh, maybe you're right, but bigger in as a rule, bigger, more settlements, the more money, the easier your game.
Yeah.
But anyway, we always like starting with one country things. Like when we had a mod called Stainless Steel, you could basically pick anyone on the map, and we would always enjoy runs as like the Crusader nations, like
You can play
just
as the Templars or like
yeah,
the Kingdom of Jerusalem.
yeah. And we always loved that because it felt like you were getting big and overcoming stuff,
Yeah.
and you felt closer to your generals and stuff too because you were following each one very closely.
Yeah,
'Cause
it's
you
one of
only
the
had, like,
it's one of the
one.
reasons I always like playing Scots so much in the regular version.
Yeah,
'Cause you
because
start
everyone
off
wants to
in
see Scotland grow big.
Yeah,
and
you start
take
off
over
in
the world.
Scotland and you carve out this empire,
Yeah.
and it's neat.
So, here's a weird thing about me, guys. I'm big into religion. I'm a religion guy. I think it's all very interesting. For some reason, I very much like Jewish people.
Yeah,
It's weird.
I think we share that.
I think they're really cool. It sounds weird to say, but like the history of Jewish people is rad. I like the culture of Jewish people. I don't know why, but I really like everything about them. But this mod, for some reason, makes them the raddest thing in the world. Because first of all, their emblem is the lion of what is it?
Judah.
Lion of Judah. I'm forgetting words today. The Judean lion or whatever, right? That's their emblem, and all of their units are crazy sweet. And for some reason, the modder decided to make almost every one of their units unique, which is awesome. Because one of my problems with Rome 2 was that for some reason there was no unique units. Like everyone had like a hoplite or like a dingleberry or like a pike guy or something.
I thought that was supposed to be one of the selling points of Rome 2 was that like there were millions and millions of unique units.
Well, that was not my experience with the game. I mean, okay, it depends on your culture of your faction. Because that part, maybe I'm speaking wrongs. Because like a unit in Aseni is going to be different from a unit of Scythia. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because the other day I was actually the reason I was starting to play this game because I was playing a Macedon campaign where my campaign was going really good until those effing horse archers came around and started ruining my life. You might think pikes would stop him, but you'd be wrong. I was getting fudged up by like stupid Scythia and some other country I don't care about. One of these nonsense countries. They're not related to Alexander the Great. Anyway, so this mod's really sweet, and so now I'm like I managed to overcome incredible adversity and take a few cities right off the bat as the Jews.
Right.
So like, my first goal is to take the coast right there and get all those big cities. Like, I want to take Antioch. I want to take what's like south of Jerusalem.
Like Damascus, I think, is around there.
Yeah,
I think that's to the east, but
well, it's to like the northeast. But yeah. So that was my first goal. Here's the thing, I accomplished it pretty easily. Like the first few cities are hard, but now that like I have some footing, it's like mad easy because all of your units are incredibly sweet. Because you have like zealots, which there used to be zealots in medieval too, and they were like just weak dudes who were like super into it. They maybe had like high morale, but they didn't do much damage.
yeah.
Because they were always just religious zealots who could like bring on crusades to like be cannon fodder. But for the Jews, for some reason, they're like the best unit ever. They do a zillion damage. Like What I've been bringing to battle is like 4 units of zealots. Then you have these certain priests who are really, really, really good, and they also have like a morale boosting thing because they're priests. So you just
Priests.
bring those like 6 things, and basically everyone gets scared right away. Because zealots can also go into frenzy, which is something that's in Rome too.
Yeah.
So they basically just go on a crazy killing spree, and everything's great.
I think zealot is a Hebrew word, if I remember correctly.
That might be true, but
Because I remember the
go
zealots
on.
were they were.
They were.
Oh, sorry guys, that was gross.
It was even worse because the internet cut out briefly.
I know. Um, it was when we did our America's run, and I basically fought an entire battle just with those priests who did that chanting, and I just demoralized the enemy until they ran away.
Yeah, that's basically what I do now, and it's just great. And you have a bunch of sweet units. You have like the Lions of Judah, which are like basically your foot companions, or they're like general style units. You have armored zealots, who are great, who are just the same exact unit but better, obviously.
Yeah.
I'm one upgrade from getting Nazarite Oath Sworn, which are sweet sounding. They definitely sound sweet. You get like Maccabee units. I don't even know what a Maccabee is, but I like it.
The Maccabees were a family of rebels against Rome.
I like that.
They're part of the Hanukkah story.
Oh, everyone loves that story. But anyway, so right now I'm planning on attacking Egypt because that would make me have slightly a boner.
Yeah,
I
it'd be
think
kind of neat.
it should be Cleopatra's Egypt, right?
Depending on the time period, I mean, it's
They
still.
show her in the intro cinematic.
Oh, there you go. I mean, it should still be. Oh, well, is it part of the Augusta? Is it part of the Augustus?
Yeah, it's
Oh,
Emperor.
okay, then yeah.
Yeah, it's part of that mod.
Oh, in that case, definitely.
Yeah,
Dude,
but it's
I'm
really
still
really
waiting.
sweet.
I'm still waiting for the mod that lets you play as Axum.
Oh, Axum, I just beat them up. They're like across the ocean from me.
Well, I know that they're in the game, but you can't play as them. They're an NPC faction.
Why do you? Who cares about Axum?
Dude, Axum is ancient Ethiopia.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
So is Ethiopia before it was cool though?
I know. It's actually when it was part of the time when Ethiopia was still cool.
Listen, we all know that Ethiopia was not relevant until Selassie came in.
That is not true.
It was not important, and then Mr. Rasta came in, and he was a Lion of Judah himself, and then everything was great. That's the reason why there's a Lion of Judah on the flag, because Selassie was a guy.
I think you got your. I think you got some of your facts.
Dude, that's
We'll talk about that off air.
I think I'm pretty much right.
We'll talk about it off air.
Anyway, it's super duper rad, but that's not all I've been doing. Why do we have to talk about what I've been doing? Because that's the kind of show we have. Deal with it. I bought Disgaea 4 recently, really recently, because I basically am done with D2. I got to the very final boss, who's like incredibly powerful that you'd have to grind for like a million years for, and so I've decided to kind of do a rain check on that and just assume I could have done the required amount of grinding,
Yeah, it makes sense.
because the feeling of victory would be it would be me telling everyone on the show I did it. So for now, everyone, just assume I did it.
Dude,
Yeah.
I just do not. I know we've talked about your love of grinding on the show before, but like that is a level of grinding that I just do not understand. Like I'm willing to go in for some grind, some hardcore grind every once in a while,
Some
like when we're
bumping
playing
grind.
Borderlands or something. But like when you have to end up leveling up your characters so they're like level 300 and doing like 250,000 damage with their attack just to like to beat the final boss, that I can't do it. It's not me.
Well, hilariously, it's like 10 times worse than what you just said. Because you can go up to level 990 or 9,999. But they also have something called reincarnation, which gets rid of all your levels, but it keeps your stats. So what most people end up doing is reincarnating a bunch of times.
That sounds awful.
No, no. Some people are like, oh, to really maximize stats, you're going to need to do about 250 times. And some people do it.
Okay, well here's the real question: how often do you get levels in that kind of game?
Oh, that you can make it incredibly easy to do so. Like, the whole thing about Disgaea is it has a lot of focus on grinding, but there are ways to make the grinding far less painful if you're willing to look for them. Because there are certain things you can, like, there's certain creatures that you can imbue into your weapons that make you gain more experience points, and you can get a pretty huge amount of them. So you'll see videos online of people getting from 1 to like 9. You can get 1 to 9,999 in like one battle in 2 attacks. If you're willing to grind enough to be able to get the things you need, you can do it really, really fast. But at that point, you're probably already really strong. That's why I said before, there's so much like there's like late game content, but there's not enough late game content. Because once you're that high of a strength, there's nothing really that can deal with you.
Right.
So you work all that effort for one boss, and you wish you could do it for like a few bosses. Anyway, so I got this guy a 4, and
Anyway,
so far,
just as an aside, all the things you described to me just hold zero interest.
it's not for you.
I know it's not for me, but like it's really not for me.
No, that's fine. That's fine. It's it's whatever. But anyway, so this game is about a guy, and he likes to do stuff, and it's who cares? It's basically the same crap. This game weirdly is way harder off the bat. I'm only at chapter 3, and for some reason I've had to grind already. For some reason they made all the geopanel stuff and like actual strategy parts like very difficult, or they made the enemies harder in a way that I don't know how to deal with. And I'm a veteran of the series, which I'm not too keen on. I do really like the main character, Valvatores, who is basically just Count Dracula, but in hell for some reason.
Of course.
And he doesn't eat human blood. Instead, he eats sardines because it helps your body be nutriized.
I was waiting for this guy a quirk.
Yeah, it's Japanese, all right. Every chapter they want to tell you more stuff about fish, and I'm like, man, we Americans don't care about fish that much. But if we made a game, it wouldn't talk about beef. We wouldn't have a thing about beef,
I
Japanese people
kind of
love
want to play
fish.
the beef game.
I mean, if we made a strategy RPG game, in between chapters, we would not have telling people about beef styles. It would be crazy.
That's probably true.
Anyway, I'm going to be playing more of it. I'm enjoying it, but it is weirdly harder. It's definitely a step down from D2. It did come out before it, but not that much before it. But they definitely improved the UI and everything a lot in between those two games. But 5 doesn't come out until next year, and it only comes out for PS4 for some reason, even though these games are just sprites and never have any graphical problems like ever. They're like the lowest graphics you've ever seen on any game in the history of your life.
Yeah, I mean, it's a 2D sprite game,
But it's only coming out for PS4.
Oh.
It is literally a 2D sprite game.
Aren't they doing that? Aren't they doing that with the with Guilty Gear 2?
No, that's coming out for PS3.
Oh, okay.
That's one of the reasons specifically why I bought a PS3 was because that game.
Again, that's a game that could have come out on PS2.
Well, the graphics are a little better in Zerd. It's kind of got that neat engine now.
I'm giving you my skeptical.
Dude, it has that cool 3D engine now. It's like actually legit.
I don't know.
Because everything in that game is no longer sprites. They're like 3D models that are like shown to the side in a neat way.
I don't
you
remember
the
that.
trailers? When is that game coming out? That's a real question.
That
Anyway,
I don't know. I want to say Q4, but who knows by this
I want to
point.
say it's already out.
I know it's already out in arcades.
That's true. Guys, do you know what else is already out? The show. It's basically out. Because it comes out in like an hour. So you guys, if you want to be...
Well, I mean, it's already out if they're listening to it.
Oh, God. Now I'm having an existential crisis. Tell them to email us while I think about this.
Guys, you should help Tom C. out of his existential crisis by emailing us all of your favorite... Email us a list of games you want for Christmas this year, because it's coming soon. What are the hot titles that you want to slap in your disc machine?
I don't like any of this.
Sit down in front of the bright screen and play all the day long.
Yeah, what he just said.
Guys,
whatever he's talking about.
Yeah, so email us and we'll pass along to old Saint Mick.
Mick Jagger?
Yeah.
All right.
He's got money. He'll buy people stuff.
Me at mickjagger.com.
Exactly.
Yeah, go watch the YouTube, which I'm sure you are.
Dude, we got a whole bunch of new stuff coming on the YouTubes for reals.
You're gonna love it.
Wowie zowie.
We got some surprises. Guys, if you haven't checked it out yet, we did another Raunchy Rules boxing, which was a huge hit. Everyone loved it. In case you haven't loved it yet, though, it's up there. And also, I've been actually posting on the Twitter lately, and that's been weird, and nobody goes on the Twitter. But if you want to see me tweeting, that's the time to go.
Wow. Guys, never before.
No, I completely didn't do it before.
To look at Tom C tweeting.
Dude, it used to be someone who would just talk about like what episodes are coming out. Now it's legit. Now I'm telling all your classic Tom C jokes. I'm doing my classic spoofs and goofs on there.
Dude, you know what it is?
What is it?
It's exclusive web content.
You know I love that.
I know. Everybody does. That's why I said it.
Guys, but we know what you love, and we know how to do it, because that's our job.
It's true. We know that you want
Speed reviews.
Tom, this is the top 10 cool Japan in video games.
I don't know what that means.
ACE, Another Century's episode series.
Listen, I'm not even that tired, but I have no idea what you're trying to tell me. What is this game even about? Is it a game about an episode or a century or what's another? What were we originally referring to? I don't know. It gets a 10 out of 10. Auto molest.
I'm about to auto molest myself once the show's over. 10 out of 10. Number 8, Gran Turismo Concept 2001 Tokyo.
This is one of those games that like is as far as Gran Turismo games where it's kind of like a single where there's like one thing and like some other crap in it. Nobody played these, but people who think they're cool like act like they did, so it gets a 10 out of 10. Cool tune.
/ cool jam.
Oh, yeah.
There's nothing I enjoy putting on hot buttered toast more than some cool jam. So it gets a 9 out of 10. Number 6, Sonic the Hedgehog.
I've never heard of this game, so it gets a 0 out of 10. Shenmue.
If you collect all 7 Dragon Balls, you can summon Shenmue, and he'll grant you any wish that you want. And 1 year I got panties, and that was pretty neat. So it gets a 7 Dragon Balls out of 10. Number 4, Jet Grind Radio.
Jet Grind Radio is a game where you're a hipster, and there's that one really hot chick in it, so it gets a 10 out of 10. Shin Megami Tensei Persona 3.
Everybody loves these games, and I've never played them before. Number 2, Yakuza.
Kazoos are that dumb instrument that people play when they think they're cool. Now you have like hipsters who play them. Not into it. Get over it, hipsters. 0 out of 10. The world ends with you.
With me? This is a classic game where you decide the fate of the universe by going about your daily life and being the best person you can be. It's a 5 out of 10.
Guys, we did it.
Guys, can you believe it?
What a great show. We'll see you next time.
Adios.